in the grand scheme of things, we talk about dismantling structural racism and moving towards health equity. It's like, I don't think I'm going to see that in my lifetime, but what are the kind of the foundational things that I think IRL has really worked at to gift to each other and gift to the fellows? And that is this kind of intentionality around creating experiences where relationships can be formed. You see somebody as a human being with complexity and values and not just an acquaintance that you run into at the conference every year. So like that intentionality about building relationships, creating a space for people to go deep if they are so inclined, but also not require it and make them uncomfortable with being in the space. So they're welcome, they're invited, but it's not demanded of them. And I think they've responded really well to that. And I think it sparked this kind of interest. Could I create this space in my future projects? And that's my hope, that it can really spark that centering of research as relationship, and relationships are required to have impactful to research and to bring about social change. How did IRL model that for us? How can we do that for our work with students, work in the community, work amongst our boards as community researchers? And what's the future of research? Like, what does that look like in a really positive way that you don't usually get in academia, or a research 101 intended for community members, right? So it really got to the core of the heart of research, is like doing work that's important to you and that you hope you can have an impact on, even if it doesn't happen in your life. But are you creating a foundation of hope and co-creation with people so that they want to keep doing their best work towards that end? Again, I feel like I'm rambling, but it's like when I think about answering this question, it really is a question from my heart and not my head.
Mhm.
And I think that that's where we've done the most in evolving as a program, moving far away from the head and much more towards the heart of what research is.
I
And
always think about some of the conflicts that we've had at some of our that are inevitable when you bring people together, and I always think about the preparation and the thought given to the what ifs.
mhm,
And in spite of the what ifs, there's always something. But I always think about a couple of incidences that I won't mention, but I see how people have moved beyond that conflict. The grace. I think what it is the grace that I've seen, which is a part of health equity. I
mhm,
think sometimes we like to take the human response out of the work that we do, the tension out of the work that we do, the natural reactions that people may have out of what we do. But I think my initially came in to do a session on ACEs, the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, which is all about trauma. And trauma is one of those things that lives in all of us. And when I think
mhm,
about health equity, how I've seen that show up and how everybody on this screen right now has shown up and responded to that, it makes me proud to be a part of a team like that.
mhm,
We do it with compassion. We do it with grace. We do it with amount of sensitivity to everybody that is included in that event. And I think the more we are living on this planet, the more we're going to be challenged about moving towards a structural and systemic racism in our healthcare system. And the only way to do that is to do it with a compassionate lens, so
mhm.
that you everybody together at the end of the day. And I could talk more because I think about the restorative justice work we're doing, other things that we're doing. That is all a part about moving towards health equity in ways that weren't an original part of this work.
I 100% agree, Miss Bobby, especially like this idea of, from the very beginning, we talked about conflict is inherent in relationships. How do you move with the conflict, through the conflict? But we didn't have the whole harm and healing restorative justice that was really completed that picture. So it's one thing to say conflict happens and how do you grow from it? But also having the healing and recognition of harm part of it, that we didn't have that language and at the very beginning. And I wish we would have woken up to that sooner, and perhaps people were trying to get the group to wake up to that sooner. But I think it kind of helped fill a hole in how we were approaching the inevitability of conflict.
That's a practice. I think everything that we've learned around restorative justice and other practices about being human-centered,
Mhm.
it's impactful. It's been impactful for me. It's impactful for other people. I've seen how people show up and how when they have the time to really think things through and process things, that it leads towards better relationships, more understanding, authenticity, inclusion, grace, all of those things.
And health equity.
And health
On
equity.
these different levels, right? From microcosm, little relationships, to much bigger, the organization of how we've been doing our work.
Yeah.
I think all those things therefore health equity. I'm just gonna note how all the vocabularies we're using in this conversation, we haven't said the word method once. Health equity means whatever statistics, improved, declined. This is a remarkable open conversation, and we really appreciate this. So we've been talking about how your impact on IRL, what you have contributed to the program and the fellows. This is our last question for you, both of you. Tell us about the impact that IRL has had on you. How has IRL changed you?
I would say it hit me at it came at the right moment in my kind of development as a academic and somebody who believes in the power of community. I talked earlier about intellectualizing the program, intellectualizing the problem of certain problems. And until it's in your heart, I think it's really hard to do really good work. And I think that was my evolution as a researcher, like not just learning everything I could about a certain area or subject, to really knowing people that were impacted by just like being open to the relationship, being open to feeling the pain of different things our like health system does to people, like not just reading about it, observing it, but actually like feeling it, having empathy and compassion.
Yes.
And that's where I think IRL kind of fast tracked that for me, because I met so many people that were doing amazing work and so passionate about it in a way that I hadn't been exposed to in most of the kind of academic circles I had been part of. And certainly the community, like it was like this blending of my two worlds, like living in academia, but working in and with community. And then having that all come together, it was just like, it was something that was so exciting. And I think I was ready for that, like being able to really see where I had to evolve along with the program and feeling safe to do that because of all the people I was in relationship with in this program.